we're all getting pretty accustomed to virtual meetings these days. And I just want to take a minute to say, I love virtual meetings. They have so much going for them. And now I'm not saying we use virtual meetings for everything, but here's what I love about virtual meetings. One, just the efficiency of it. Now, it's not good for my daily steps when I can click from a meeting with people in Los Angeles to a meeting with people in Madrid with just a click. So that's not great. But the efficiency of that, the efficiency of working across time zones, of not having to change buildings in a campus or even take the elevator. It's so great that it can be, 1 minute to the hour. I click, I'm in the meeting, we have the conversation, and I click and I'm out. So they are very efficient, cutting down on that commute time. Love that. I love that the technology these days, and this is improving every week, we can record meetings, but now with a variety of different tools, we can have AI summarize and do all the minutes of the meeting. We don't need to have somebody using an hour after the meeting to go through all the action items. It's all there and automated. And that is so efficient. Love it. Of course, a more meaningful thing that I've really noticed in virtual meetings is some of the power differentials that used to come from people having a more senior position, or in one case that I'm thinking of, a person who was physically very large and intimidating and would often raise his voice. It was amazing when we shifted into virtual meetings and his box was exactly the same size as other people's boxes. He took up less time in the conversation, and people seemed to be willing to disagree and add different thoughts much more readily than they were when he was physically in the room, turning red in the face and yelling at them. So for various different diversity dimensions, having introverts have a space to kind of use a chat, and I see that all the time. Somebody who will put a great idea in the chat, and then a colleague will be able to say, hey Sally, why don't you share what you put in the chat? I think it's a great point. We're bringing more people into the conversation, and that's a really, really good thing about virtual meetings. The inclusivity goes beyond just the people who are already in the team. Another thing I found, I do a lot of keynote speaking, and now when we can do some of these things virtually, folks at different levels or in different geographies who wouldn't have been included if they had to physically fly them into hear a learning event or a keynote, now that we can have everybody in and it doesn't affect the cost, we're bringing great content. We're allowing people to hear conversations firsthand instead of hoping that their managers will take these learnings back to them. I love the inclusivity that a virtual meeting creates. So good. It's also technically so much easier to create sort of an omni-media, omni-channel interaction. So you can share your screen so easily. You can attach a doc. Many of the systems like Microsoft Teams, for example, you have an entire system around that meeting where you have the chat and the follow-up action items. You have slides or documents that go with it, and all in one place. You have this amazing library of tools and resources to help you follow that thread and get that piece of work done more efficiently. Just makes so much sense. And then one of the things I really like is that in a virtual meeting, you can turn on or turn off cameras with a click of a button. And there are times when body language gets in the way of effective collaboration. If you're physically in a room together, you can't turn that off. You're noticing the person who is rolling their eyes or who's turning their body language away from you. It might be completely unrelated to what's going on in your head, but it's very distracting. It's better in many cases when we're working on co-creating something. It's better to turn off the cameras, share a screen in a document or there's so many tools now for having virtual whiteboards, whatever it is. But we can do better often when we hear people's voices, but we don't see their faces. You can't just magically turn off people's faces in an in-person meeting, but it's amazing how easily you can do that in a virtual meeting. There's other great things about virtual meetings, like if you have to leave, it's a lot it's a lot less intrusive than kind of getting up, packing up your stuff, and leaving in an in-person meeting. So there are many reasons, but those are just some of the reasons why I love virtual meetings, and so have invested a lot of time in using them as just another tool in our teamwork toolkit. All right, more on how to make virtual meetings more effective. Check this out.